All right, joining us now, he is the overlord of Read the Line. He got home for his son's high school graduation. He's headed to the University of Florida. His dad would like to go with him, but he has to continue to work at Read the Line. That is, of course, Keith Stewart. He's at the Travelers Championship. That's what he does that nobody else in his space is doing. Every event, he's usually on site, talking to staff, talking to the setup team, talking to the agronomy staff as well. All right, my friend, congratulations to your son, to the family. It's one of those great moments in life. But you transition up there, and that's a big word here, Keith. How do you handicap a field where a lot of these guys are coming off the attrition and exhaustion of, in particular, a U.S. Open?
You know what, Gary? Good morning. And that's one of the reasons that inspired me to get out on the road and watch what these guys are doing when it comes to their practice rounds, when it comes to their play, all of the above. Taking on Shinnecock and all that is a U.S. Open, someone like Sam Burns, watching him walk around yesterday, he looks tired, not just physically, but mentally. And coming into this week where that's a player might be a really good fit for TPC River Highlands, I think you have to take all of that into account. So you're spot on with the assessment of why I'm here and what I'm looking for.
Again, this being the culmination of this series, having these stacked fields, no Rory this week again, which is a part of the storyline of this signature series in 2026. The few interludes with Rory and Scotty in the field. So when you and I start to look at, I look at it in certain ways, and you look at it with all this different, empirical data. What do you think is the most important thing about TPC River Highlands?
Oh, I think the course conditions are really going to dictate what happens this week. Last year on Friday, the scoring average was actually over par because it was windy and the course played firm and fast. This week, we've already seen almost 1.5 inches of rain. It's going to be a scoring fest. It's going to be a birdie fest. Vegas set the winning score over-under line at 20.5 under par. We expect there to be blood. I mean, the scorecards are going to just be covered in birdies and eagles at this place. Par 70, well under 6,900 yards. I need guys that are going to hit the fairway. I need guys that are going to hit greens with close proximity, and I need guys that can fill up the cup, which is a little bit different than last week. But at the end of the day, it's still the guys that were close last week are the ones that get the most of my attention because they're on, but they weren't fully into the grinder.
Yeah, that's fair, and it brings us to us updating the standings here with our staff, and then getting to picks. And we have 2 events that we're making picks this week. It's getting late early, my friend. It's time. It's time for you. It's fourth quarter. Put up your 4 fingers. It's time to show who you really are. And it's time for Brendan DeYoung to show who he really is. Him being at the top of the standing, he's been embedded there. So we transition from updating the numbers. Taylor had a good week. Jay Billis. Taylor, by the way, he is out of Rory McIlroy picks. He's one away from playing all of his Scheffler picks. Well, we start with the KPMG Women's PGA Championship. 4 Nelly cards. Me, Gil Hance, Taylor Zarzer, yourself. Why Nelly? And it's like, okay, why not? But for you in particular, why Nelly?
Well, the KPMG up there at Hazeltine National is seeing the same type of weather that they are here at Travelers, TPC River Highlands. It's been wet up there. Yesterday, the practice rounds were canceled because of dangerous weather and wet weather. So a big golf course is going to play bigger. You saw what she did at Riviera. I mean, Nelly's the strokes gained leader in pretty much every category, including wins. 9 starts this year, 4 wins, 3 second places. And she doesn't seem to be bothered by the fact of compiling wins like, similar to a Scotty. If you're looking for money like I am, I think Nelly's an ATM this week up there at the KPMG.
All right, now we look at our picks for the Travelers Championship, this signature series event. A lot of Schefflers, myself, Emma Carpenter, Taylor, and Brendan DeYoung. You go with Colin Morikawa. Just a quick thought on Colin.
Great, good at the U.S. Open, but not great. Yep. Great iron player, accurate off the tee, and he can score. Love Colin this week.
Yeah, I tell you that the Scheffler thing gets back to your point about Sam Burns. Sam was, that's a gutting. Scheffler didn't experience that. Plus, I think he also is incredibly resilient. He just recalibrates and starts the meter again. And I think in terms of his ability to just move on to whatever is next, win, lose, or draw. That's why I'm playing him this week. Thank you, as always, for your perspective. And again, nobody does what he does, being on site at all these big events. Have a great week up there.
Hey, Gary, just so you know, I'm feeling it. I'm at a Super 8 in Cromwell, Connecticut this week. You know, I need Colin to cash for me. All right? I'm feeling it, my friend.
You're a week away from a hostel, is what your next check-in site is. There is Keith Stewart, the overlord of Read the Line there. A couple final thoughts about the KPMG Women's PGA. You know, unfortunately for them, as far as the golf media, the large majority of them, and many of them will reposition themselves and get to Chaska, Minnesota for the coverage of this women's major championship. But with Nelly Korda being in a space that she's in, and you go back to 2013, and interestingly enough, it was Inbee Park who won the first 3 majors in the women's game that year. And she won the third one when it was a different kind of order of delivery. It was the U.S. Women's Open that ran third in the order that year, and they held it at Sabonic. And it felt huge. It felt big. And seeing that place, which, you know, really is butting up against National Golf Links, which then on the other side of that is Shinnecock. It felt grand. They could take the KPMG Women's PGA anywhere, and it would feel very, very significant. And to KPMG's credit, they were the ones who said, we'll be first. We'll make this massive investment in elevating this women's major championship, not only where we go, but how we pay as well. But Nelly Korda is in a position to keep this train rolling, because very swiftly will come the next major championship, the Evian, and then they'll have a little bit of time to breathe before the final women's major championship at the Women's Open. But if she goes on and wins, look, you saw what she did in the aftermath of winning at Riviera and finding herself walking the streets of Manhattan, doing media, not only digital media, but also being on with Pat McAfee. The Nelly train is rolling. If the next stop is Chaska, wow.